It is now official.
Okay.
We're going.
All right. Let's
This is
do
it.
That's it.
So thanks so much for coming on here, Daniel. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on. But yeah, you're a really interesting person. I've known you for a couple of years.
Right.
And so you just asked, like, okay, so like, what are we talking about? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And you're only my third person.
Well, that's fine. We can test it out.
Yeah.
Navigate these waters, right?
Yeah. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, and my friends were always asking me, because I was wanting to have my friends on at first. They're saying like, well, what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's just, do we need a theme?
No, I don't think so.
And so after
We just
a while,
need coffee on the table. That's all.
Hey, there's coffee here.
I have water, but yeah.
I'm sure you probably already had coffee.
I did.
Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoy having good conversations with people, and so I'm like, you know what? I just have people on, and we'll talk. We'll find interesting things to talk about, things that are worthwhile.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for coming to start this off. Let's see. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about who you are for the people who are watching and listening?
Sure. So that is such a complex question because it's the funny thing about that question in particular is that we in the States, we think of ourselves as what we do. And it's weird because we are so used to having that question when we talk to people, like, what do you do, right?
It's like the first question.
It's like, what do you do? And that question, as incomplete as it is, it means, what do you do for a living? And it is kind of you are part of your job. So I was in Italy a few years ago, well, more than a few years, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I was hanging out with my friends who are all Italian. These people were born and raised there. So there's some kind of difference culturally. When we meet, we have so much fun, but there's always a little bit of difference there. And I asked one of my friends, one of the guys that I just met, like, hey, what do you do? And his reaction was like, I'm not a job. So like that.
You gave your hand a little smack. Like,
yeah. Like we were in a nice dinner setting, and he said, like, I'm not a job. Like, so it made me understand that we're looking at this in the wrong spectrum of what we're doing is not who we are. But I think it gets a little closer to those of us that have decided to quit the job that was defining us to do something that we really love. So we get a little closer to that. So for just to answer the question, then going back to that, I was a trained publisher. That's how I spent most of my career, like professional career. And then I jumped into the coffee industry 6 years ago.
Okay. As far as publishing goes, what kind of stuff did you publish?
We used to do professional stuff for like trade in high schools and colleges, universities. So my responsibility was in the marketing department, publishing marketing books or publishing economic books. And that was a lot of fun.
Marketing and economics.
Yeah,
Was this specifically for kids who were going to school, or was this?
Right. We were publishing for people going to college for those degrees, and then of course this have been changing so much, and we went from publishing a book to creating digital assets, and that was what we were doing most of the time, just creating digital assets, and that was the revolution that I was not that excited. I don't want to say I'm old school and I don't want to, join the progress, but I just didn't find myself like working on a computer, in front of a computer all day long and not having anything to show for, anything that I can touch and feel. So at that point, it was done. I was looking for something else, and that's how the coffee came into my laps.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about concerning coffee.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, though, so like as far as your upbringing goes, do you have any
Right.
siblings? Do you have did you move around a lot?
Yeah.
What areas are you from? And
So I am Venezuelan by nationality. My family, my heritage has been moving. I guess we don't have a place yet. So my great-grandfather was Italian, and he escaped the war. He went to Venezuela. He raised part of his family. Then it was broken into. Some people went to Argentina, some went back to Italy, some stayed in Venezuela. So my generation, which is my brother and I on my side of the family, we both also moved out of Venezuela. So my brother is in Spain, in Madrid, and I'm here in Cincinnati. My mom is still back home, and we're trying to convince her. It's kind of like an ongoing war with my brother, trying to bribe my mom, like, hey, do you want to come to the States? And my brother's like, yeah, you know, Spain is a little better.
Yeah.
You can speak Spanish and whatever. So we're competing against mom right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. What made you decide to come to Cincinnati, of all places?
Yeah, right. You know, it's one of those stories about, you know, the girl is going there, so let's chase the girl.
Chasing the girl.
Hey,
man, I've been there.
Yeah,
I know what that's like.
I think everybody at some point goes to that rabbit hole. And the deal is that I hated it. I came to Cincinnati, I absolutely hated it. I was ready to move, and I was looking for an escape. But I was doing well at my corporate job. And I was trying to get either promoted or put in a position that was similar to what I had so I can leave Cincinnati. Something happened in the city. It was this kind of revolution that just took over. And I felt like I needed to be a part of that. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to walk away from publishing and see if I can get myself invited into this party. So Urbana was, the company name was to be in the core of the urban district. That was the whole reason for it. We wanted to be in. It was something that I never seen a city like going so fast, so quickly.
Yes.
And you know, for a younger person, with enough experience, I thought like it'll be crazy not to participate into this. It'll be crazy to move to, I don't know, to New York City, where a lot of stuff is already done, but we can be a part of this new beginning. So that was kind of the part of, Cincinnati is my town now. Like, and the love became after building with the city.
What year did you move to Cincinnati?
2001.
2001. Okay. I moved here back in 2012. So you've been here a few years more than me.
Yeah.
But when I moved back here, that's been like 7 years, a little over 7 years. And I saw such rapid transformation myself in the city.
Yeah.
And me and a couple friends who started Enjoy, my brother and my buddy Ron, we're like, you know, because I was always toying with the idea of like, do I leave Cincinnati? Do I stay here? Because I was originally from Dayton, Ohio, just an hour up north. And I thought, well, like, there's a lot of potential here. And I've seen just, you know, especially OTR, you know, the downtown urban district, it's just exploding with new bars and restaurants and new housing, and just like everything is being, you know, developed again and built up. And it's really amazing to see.
Yeah. And the deal with all this is, I don't think we're halfway done.
Oh, no.
I mean, I live currently at Findlay Market or by Findlay Market. And the development where I'm moving into pretty soon is a new condo I'm getting into. Behind that, there's so much area to develop. There's still so many buildings that are ported out.
Is this near Findlay Market, you said? Okay, yeah.
So we're not done. We're not halfway done. And this could take us all the way to the West End. And the West End, it is, you know, it's big. That connects to North Side, and I mean, so forth.
There's so much untapped potential in the West End.
So much untapped.
Unbelievable.
And it starts to look a little bit like Chicago, that all these neighborhoods start kind of blending together. And I think we have an opportunity for that. But interestingly enough, Dayton, it is going to the same direction, I think.
Yeah, I don't visit Dayton very often, but I've seen, even just through social media, some of my friends that live in Dayton who are really like tapped into the scene there. They got their finger on the pulse. They're making moves for sure in Dayton. Yeah, it's happening, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cincinnati's a good place, good spot to be. You can actually make waves here, as opposed to, like you're saying, going to New York City, which I think I want to live there for like at least 3 to 6 months of my life just to experience it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think for me personally, what I've decided within like the last maybe like 6 months or so, I realized Cincinnati is home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is going to be home for me for the rest of my life. So the tentative game plan for me, at least so far, is I want to buy a property here in Cincinnati. So I always have a home base to come back to. Live here maybe like 8 or 9 months out of the year. And then 3 or 4 months of the year when it gets cold here, I was like, all right, I'm going to San Diego, get a fully furnished apartment, live there for a few months. Or I'm going to Barcelona or, wherever.
Dude, I will join into that dream. I like it.
Maybe we can get a whole group of people to do it.
Do that timeshare.
Yes.
But everybody wants to be there when the weather is good. Maybe not. It's not going to work.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe we need a lot of rooms in that timeshare.
Or we just need to make a lot of money with all of our own places. Right. We buy up a whole cul-de-sac.
No, I tell you, I mean, that's the same. I think everybody's with you. I think I agree. The city is magnificent. The weather could be better, right? But
yes, yeah.
But this is a deal that we have no control over.
Mm-hmm. The weather is very erratic. Yeah. You don't know what to expect day from day. Day by day. It can be.
Well, September is super hot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, it's still summer right now.
It is in the middle of the summer. It feels like. Yeah.
And then when winter comes, it's going to be like, bam.
It's tomorrow. It's going to snow.
Where's fall? Yeah. What happened to fall?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you get over it.
Right.
So I think I read somewhere at one point in time that Cincinnati is one of the most overcast cities in the country. I don't know if it was like top 10, but it's up there, like as far as the number of days where it's cloudy. So what I did, I bought some yellow sunglasses. Or just yellow glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And so even on cloudy days, it's nice and sunny for me everywhere I go.
That's good. I'm going to practice that.
And I tell you, it really improves your mood, honestly. It feels good.
I saw Ronaldo wearing the glasses one day, and I asked him, what's the deal with the glasses?
Yeah. Is that what he had to say? Pretty much the same thing?
No, he did. I thought I said it in a, joke kind of way, so I don't think he took me serious.
Gotcha. But yeah, the glasses, game changer.
Yeah.
I'm slowly but surely allowing myself to get more weird and weird with my wardrobe.
Yeah.
Like, here's what I wear every day. I wake up when I'm leaving the house, put my fanny pack on every single day. Yeah. Fanny pack is the future, I'm telling you.
It was the past. I'm gonna.
Well, it's the future again. The fanny pack and the yellow glasses. And I don't know, I like it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I tell you one thing. So when I was younger, fanny packs were in, and I have to say I wore many of them, right? Until I think I watched a skit of Seinfeld. He was saying that, what is that you have to have so close to your genital that is so important? And that's the day I said, yeah, he's right. These are not in anymore. But yeah, they're back in.
Yeah. And I don't wear it in front of my genitals. I wear it to the side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a little side
makes it
pouch.
A little better. So
yeah, exactly.
The things there are not as important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, but honestly, though, it is a game changer in my life because I got rid of my car, so I ride my bicycle everywhere. Oh. So it's nice just having like keys, credit card ID, my little earbuds that I listen to music, my phone, all that just right there handy.
So how's the deal with having a bike? Not a car anymore.
So since I live here in Bellevue and I work in OTR, I have friends who live in Park Hills or, live in Ludlow or whatever. It's a little bit of a further trek for me. But everywhere it's pretty close. Like I can get to work in 10 to 15 minutes on my bicycle. I just go down Fairfield Avenue, hop on the Purple People Bridge, and then I'm already in Cincinnati. And then it's just like take Eggleston all the way down, only a couple lights. So it's fast.
Yeah. And what do you do for groceries? Or do you just have it delivered?
You know what? I haven't got on that delivery game yet. Although I could see in like 5 years, people will be like, you're going to the grocery store? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you getting your groceries delivered? I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah.
But what I do is I will go frequently. I'll go probably like twice a week. And I just got a backpack. So go there, chain up my bike and go inside and just jam my backpack. If it can't all fit in my backpack, I'll just have like bags over my hands, just like lock it in.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like get on my bike and be very careful. Never take any sudden movements because the bags swing will like throw you off balance.
Right. So there's a pretty good story when I don't know if it's pretty good, but when I was working in this corporate job. I want to say maybe 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. We were working on this marketing book, and we discover, I guess, as a company, this brewing company in Colorado that was making the change in the brewing industry, which is New Belgium. And at this point, everybody knows about New Belgium and the fat tire and the story and all that. But for us, we were just discovering that. And that was so inspiring to know this company, it is asking people to come to work in a bicycle. They were reusing the energy to make beer, to cool, or to using as a heating element for some areas in the building. I mean, they were doing so many good things. And so I thought, my life has got to be better. I can't live like this anymore. So I sold my car, which was an SUV, and bought a small car. That was the first thing, right? And then after that, I thought, I'm going to drive a bicycle. I'm going to ride a bicycle to work every single day. And in fact, I'm going to do it for a whole month, no car, and see what happens. So I get this bicycle, which I also bought. I didn't have it. And so I go ahead and buy this bicycle. And I was working in Mason and living in Pleasant Ridge. There's no real good way to get there. And you feel that you're going to die every single day, but you're risking your life for the future of the world, I guess.
Yeah.
So I track everything, like calories burned, how much food I was eating, was I losing weight or gaining weight, and everything was very well tracked. So I started seeing like, okay, well, I'm losing enough weight that I'm not eating enough. And when I get my calorie intake and then started doing the math, well, my footprint is a little larger because I eat more and whatever. So I was kind of trying to take all that stuff into consideration. But the game changer on all this was that I'm working in Mason. I live in Pleasant Ridge, and I started dating this girl downtown Cincinnati. That was horrible.
Going from Mason all the way to downtown.
Exactly.
Wow. How long would that take?
It took a while. And I was very sweaty all the time. So this dating thing didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
So I will go from Mason straight to my house. Didn't matter. I mean, showering was a waste of time. So I will go home, just pack some clothes, and then keep on going downtown. And I will jump at this pool that I knew existed downtown. There was never a lot of people checking in if you live there or not. So I will jump in the pool so I can refresh a little bit, put better clothes, go date, and then go all the way back to Pleasant Ridge.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we dated for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. You're like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
You're an awesome person, but
but this is not working. You're too far out of my route. This is not working out. So yeah, this was my 1 month experience with the bike and no car.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
So I think you got to keep it central. That's the trick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm basically living that lifestyle. Everything is central.
Yeah.
If I have to go any further, I'd be like hitting up a friend like, hey, man, you want to go do this thing? Or, if I want to visit family, I'll hit up my brother or somebody else like, hey, you want to take a trip up to Dayton? See some people?
That is how you get. Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
Bum some rides.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I tell you what, I think I wish Cincinnati had some more public transportation options. I mean, you have the bus, which I've taken like the tank and stuff like that. But it's a shame we don't have like Subway or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Or if I could go up to Dayton, because I know they were thinking about that at one point in time, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah, I think the railroad.
Like a train?
That was back in the first term of Obama. I think it was when the economy was still all pretty bad, and but that didn't happen.
That would have been so awesome. Yeah, so it goes.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's talk about coffee.
Yeah. All right. Let's get there.
Let's get into it. So me personally, I've never been a big coffee drinker.
Okay.
And I think I intentionally tried to hold off on drinking coffee for the longest time because I heard people talking like, oh yeah, if I don't have like 2 cups of coffee in the morning, then I'm just worthless. Like I'm dragging, I can't do anything. And I'm like, I don't want to become reliant on coffee, you know?
Right. That's yet another drug that you don't want to have, to rely on. I get it.
So I started drinking a cup here and there, started developing the taste. Because, when you first drink coffee, you're just like, your palate's not used to it. It's like drinking beer or wine or anything like that. And, slowly but surely, just like with my girlfriend at the time, with other people, it's like, okay, have a little coffee here. And they're like, oh, that's kind of nice. Develop the taste. And then once the Enjoy shop opened, I started drinking coffee. Like, all right, I'm going like full time on this coffee thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
And there was some days I was almost shaking out of my skin. I was just like so amped, just like, all right, let's get it.
And I think anybody who has gone and anybody who has been an entrepreneur in the service industry can understand what you just said. Like, so easy. You either do a lot of coffee or you're starting doing Coke. One of
exactly.
The two. But you're so poor that you're going to go with a coffee.
Like, this caffeine's so much cheaper.
That's right.
So what I did as well, at a certain point, I realized, like, okay, maybe I'm getting carried away. Like, I was drinking a lot of coffee every day. Okay, maybe I just want to like go cold turkey for a while just to like prove to myself. And a few days into it, I'm like, man, why have I had these headaches?
Yeah.
For some reason, my brain, I didn't even realize, like, connect the dots. Like, oh, you're dependent on coffee now, and now you're having withdrawal symptoms. And I'd never had withdrawal symptoms from not having coffee. So I'm like, oh wow, my body needs this. That's what it's telling me.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let me just dial it back. So now my current intake, I'll have maybe like 2 or 3 cups a week.
Right. Well,
maybe 4. And that's it. Yeah.
Right.
So I go to some days where I don't have it at all. And today I'm treating myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Coffee, a little coconut oil in there. It's good for you. Or so I
hear.
Yeah,
I think so.
The scientists say.
Well, scientists, I think they're right on that.
I think so too.
On that side. So anyways, for me,
so when did you start drinking coffee? That's my first question.
I have no idea. Like,
was it in your 20s, you think?
No. Well, maybe 5.
Oh wow! So this has been like a part of your life.
Yeah. So my Italian heritage combined with my Latin heritage, it is like a mandatory thing to have on the table. So when we were kids, we sit down in the breakfast table with everybody else in the family, and there's some kind of squeezed juice, whether it's orange or something, some other fruit, whatever you're eating, and there's coffee. I mean, the coffee is being passed around the table. You're gonna have it. So what you do for kids is you do this café con leches, which is mainly milk. Funny enough, it is the most popular drink in the States, which is a latte. So it's mainly milk, some sugar, so you can make it sweet and it doesn't taste like coffee so much. And you see in the table that the adults are drinking their coffee much darker until you get to pure black. So you're graduating. But when we were kids, we were drinking coffee, and it's part of it, and it's no big deal. As an adult, it becomes, in the morning, it's a ritual. It's always there. It's nothing special. It's just there. As an adult, it becomes a ritual because it's, not the ritual, but the social side of it. And then once you start liking girls or boys or whatever it is, then you have this that's kind of your secret pass to have a date. They say, hey, you want to go for a cup of coffee? And it doesn't matter because like in every bakery or almost any hole in the wall that sells anything, there will be an espresso machine. So if you're with somebody and you tell them, let's just get a cup of coffee, so you just gotta walk maybe a block, get some coffee, and then keep on moving. So the commitment to ask a girl or a boy to go get some coffee is so small that you always have a pretty good chance that they're going to say yes, and you have a chance to talk a little bit. So it becomes that social part of it. Then later on, when you have a little more, access to more money, then you start saying, let's go to a cafe at night. And that's that's a proper date. The coffee that is not important is irrelevant at that point. You're going to eat. Yeah. And then maybe you have some coffee. But for me, coffee has been always or what I can remember the most, it is the social side of it. So the company, the way I wanted to build it was not the company where people will sit by themselves. It was the company that I wanted to build where people can make what neighborhoods are great about is people getting together. So that was always the idea. And it's funny because it seems that sometimes I'm trying to fight the fight where we all are, right? We have our computers and we're in front of it, and we have so much to do that the coffee shop became the place where you sit by yourself and work on the computer. So we intentionally have tried not to get into that, and the shop in East Walnut Hills doesn't have internet, and we don't want internet there. We want
no internet at this coffee shop.
No internet.
Wow. Are you gonna put that like in big bold letters like underneath when people Google it? Like, oh,
well,
Urbana?
it is. We have taken so much heat, and that's
I could see people getting mad.
Oh
about
my god, people all the time they get mad. But the shop performs okay. That's the one in East Walnut Hills. The one in Pendleton, we opened with an internet, with access to internet. We're not gonna strip it away now. But yeah, we got a lot of heat. We still do. But people still come. And when you're working in this shop, obviously not everybody's going to come. But the people that do come, they want that. They feel they're connecting. So I think it's kind of working out for what we wanted to do. It's a good experiment, at least, to say that we try that.
Yeah. I mean, I personally have never heard of a coffee shop saying we're not going to have Wi-Fi. Like that's almost an alien concept to me, but I love the idea behind it.
Yeah, it's an insult for many. You're insulting people.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just that assumption.
That is right. And the assumption, this is what I think is so dangerous to have the assumption, because it became such a staple. It is like being in a coffee shop and not carrying sugar, right? Or not having milk. So it becomes almost like the heat that we take, it will be from someone that says, I ordered my coffee and I sat down and there's no Wi-Fi. Like, so then I think about it and wait, where in our menu says that we are the Wi-Fi place or the hotspot? We have in the menu a bunch of items that are coffee made or pastries, but in no place we're saying this is something that you have to have. So it became to be something that goes hand in hand. I like to break a little bit from that because it's not the reality of what it should be, at least in my mind. And if everybody hates us after a while, then we'll think about it. But for now, we're gonna keep on trucking it.
You know what? I dig it. I fully support it. If they really need internet, well, they can just like pull up a hotspot on their phone, and if you really need to send a couple emails or whatever.
Right. That's usually that's the thought behind the curtains that we think. If somebody really needs to connect, they're gonna find a way to connect.
I dig it.
Yeah,
because I feel like you already know, of course, that in our culture, just like we're so disconnected from everyone. And it's like we're more social than ever with social media and all these platforms. But as far as like actual face-to-face, like interacting with people, we're really suffering in that area.
Yeah. Well, the study indicates that, more and more of us are living by ourselves. More and more of us are not getting married or getting divorced too quickly. And in that, there's a direct correlation to depression. So not that we're offering the cure to that, but yet
one
it's
step in
one
the right
more
direction.
item, right? It's just one more item that when you're out and about, maybe this is not a judgment, but maybe instead of being on the phone with becoming social on social media, maybe being social in the space that you are.
Yeah. That's good. Daniel, I love it, man. And how long have you been doing this at your...
This is, it's been a year. We opened without internet. We put it on the wall. People still get upset when they see it. They say, but there's no sign on the walls. And so, well, there's a big sign here. There's a paragraph why we don't have internet, though. but they don't see it, and then they'll scream at me at some point. And,
you're like, give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah, but the shop is doing well. The people that come there, they come for a reason now.
Yeah. Do people bring books or any other things to read, or do they normally just meet with people?
We took a picture some time ago, and it was fantastic to see, but there was like a lot of people with the newspaper, and some people reading here and there, but mostly what happens is there's a lot of dating. There's a lot. I mean, it becomes that space where you take your dates or a lot of family interaction. So you come on a Saturday or on Sunday, and it's full of life. Like everybody's talking about something. It's full of life. So the best feeling is the Saturday and Sunday when the shop is full, and the outside is full, and the inside is full. Then Tuesday to Friday, the shops are used a little more utilitarian. So people come and they get the drinks, they get whatever, and then they leave. But you see the magic on the weekends for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a really good space to not just to like visit, but to work in.
Yeah.
And just be around that electricity in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have regulars that they are just bringing their computers anyways, and they do their work. They don't seem to be bothered by it. They're still gonna work.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So you said you got started in coffee about 6 years ago.
Right.
So tell me about just like, what was it that made you decide to get into coffee? I know you've been drinking coffee since you were like 5 or something like that. What made you make the transition from publishing to working for yourself, which is a pretty big jump that not a lot of people even consider doing?
No, it's super scary. Yeah. I was not. First of all, I was not the best employee when I was in corporate America. I think I had energy. I had the drive, but I got to a point that I started to becoming disappointed by maybe I wanted a better position and I didn't get it, and so I was becoming a little more sour about what I was doing. So I was not a great employee at this moment in time, but also I was losing some of that drive to keep pushing, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, I didn't quite like the direction that the company was heading to, so that made me also even a worse employee. But I thought that I couldn't live life like this anymore. Like going to the place that you're spending the most amount of time in, then you're not in love with it, and you don't feel like you're giving your all, or the place doesn't make you, be the best version of yourself. So I didn't want to keep doing that. I didn't think it was fair. But the idea wasn't that I was going to jump completely off the publishing industry. The idea was that I need to do something that gets the best out of me.
Yeah.
So I started working on this Urbana cafe project. And I knew at this point that I was going to be on a Vespa. I didn't know how to do it. But I knew it was going to be on the Vespa, so I bought a Vespa online on eBay. I got it, and then once I got a ship, I was like, "What am I going to do with this thing? I have no idea." And with a friend of mine, I started fixing it up and doing the plumbing, the electric, the woodworking, and then I took some time to learn how to make coffee in a professional way, but all of that was with intention of making this a side gig. It was never going to be a full-time. It was a side gig that I go Saturdays and Sundays and see what happens. And the first time that we go to market, there's a line of people. And I cannot believe it. And I'm sweating bullets because I have no idea what I'm doing. Because I already studied how to be a barista. I already have taken courses. But nothing trains you to have a line of people waiting for their orders. We don't know how to take the orders. We took the orders incorrectly most of the time. I don't understand why people came back, because I'm sure it wasn't that great the first day that we were out.
Were you letting people know this is like your first day ever doing this?
Yeah. Because everybody will come and take a picture, and And that was the other thing. Like I will be making drinks and people wanted to take a picture, and I was trying to be super hyper concentrated into what I was doing, and the distraction of people taking pictures and being behind me and talking to me. I couldn't take it. Like I couldn't do
the
it.
Buzz all around you. You're like, oh my God,
was so bad.
I need to be in the zone and I can't be right now.
This guy was in the line. He was waiting online for maybe 20 minutes. And we made him wait for another 20 minutes for his drink, which we got incorrectly. He was so pissed on day one. So, but at the end of the day, it was more positive than negative. At the end of the day, it was just, we were high on this new thing. There was just so much fun. It was so much fun, and that level of interaction that I never had in my company. Like even when we went on trips and we were celebrating that one of our books did so well, it was never this high. It was always, kind of subdued.
Yeah.
So this was intoxicating. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I will go on the Monday to work and I'll be thinking how to make it better. How do we cut that line in half? How do we, put a procedure where people can place their orders and they're not waiting for so much or for so long? And it became an obsession that I knew after a week or so that corporate was not my route anymore.
Yeah.
So almost a year. Yeah.
And let me just say this before you continue on. That initial phase of building your business, it is one of the, like you're saying, you're almost like high at the end of it. You're euphoric. You had such an amazing experience, even though it was stressful at times.
Right.
And there's a sense of satisfaction that you get from something that you yourself have done, something you poured yourself into, your blood, sweat, and tears, and your vision comes to life, and you realize it's working, and people enjoy it, and I'm having fun, and this is mine. Like this is me. This is an extension of myself, not just like, oh, I got this job, I sent them my resume, and now I'm part of like the machine.
No, because you're doing everything, right? You're from getting to designing the menu to
you can keep on.
From designing the menu to executing the menu. So you're working on every single level, and it just becomes, it really becomes that thing that you're doing. It is not, not that I'm saying that there's anything wrong with teamwork, but you put this together, So there's a lot of pride that you can take on that, and a part of that is that knowing that you can have a concept and execute a concept, because it's very easy to have an idea and say, what if we did this, but now putting that into implementing that idea is very hard.
Yeah, it's cool just seeing your own things come to life.
Right.
Very cool. So that first, was it a weekend? Was it at Findlay Market?
Yeah, it was a weekend at Findlay Market. The idea for all this was that it was going to happen at Findlay Market. I was very laser focused on few things. Where the business was going to be in, it had to be unique. It had to be something that I felt passionate about, and it had to be a Findlay Market. If those variables were not to happen, we were not going to do it.
Why Findlay Market, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I was a shopper at Findlay Market, and what I saw at Findlay Market was I was not there for the deals. It's actually very inconvenient to go shopping at Findlay Market. You fight the traffic, parking is difficult. Then you go to these places and, you're going to buy things off in the market, but you still have to stay in line for every single item you're getting, especially if you go Saturdays and Sundays, which was my case since I had a day job. And none of that was convenient, but it's intoxicating because there's an energy at Findlay Market that you don't get at any major superstore or supermarket. You go there and you hear the music and the smells, and the people around you, and it's just the place where you want to be, and it's the experience. So Findlay Market offers that, and we wanted to be part of a greater thing. In trying to think that we wanted to be an anchor, it was not the idea that I had with this. It was more of something that we can work in with a team, with a number of businesses that are doing something. I mean, we wanted to be a part of something, not just be the anchor to the city. I think that's kind of too big to think or to expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Findlay Market's an amazing place. Yeah. It's kind of magical in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's where we got our start as well. That first summer we were out there at Findlay Market selling, and we had our little cart as well.
Right. No, I remember all that.
Yeah.
Because we were still coming to Findlay Market every weekend.
Mm-hmm. And I think with your business, you were saying you wanted something that was kind of unique as well. That was like one of your variables, right? That little Vespa you bought and you like built out with the coffee station on the back. I mean, that is awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure that was a big reason why you had such a large line on your very first day.
I think so. I think
people are like, what is this that I'm seeing? Right. This is amazing.
Right. And I think that, when I was in publishing, one of the things that I learned, packaging is important, right? The product's got to be, valuable as well. But you have to be able to captivate the audience before they even see the product or before they even try the product. Mm-hmm. So not having something unique and trying to get into the market, it seemed like a risky business.
Yeah.
And especially because when someone like me working in a publishing house or any job that anybody can have, it's not that your disposable income is so much so that you can, if it doesn't go well, you can do something else. Mm-hmm. Once you start putting all your savings into this, I mean, and especially for the people that have a 9-to-5 and have a really strict budget, those budgets have been set by, the house that they desire to acquire, the cars that they desire to buy. So all that money is already going into different directions. And when you do these businesses, that was not accounted for. And in every time that I thought, okay, I'm ready to go to market, and I will see the Vespa, and I will think, no, we need to do something else. It's not right yet. So the Vespa was going to go to market without a new paint job. And I couldn't afford a paint job. And then I thought, okay, I got to pull from my 401k, but it's got to be painted. It's got to look nice. And the branding, let's do the branding first. We're not going to put any branding on it. So it was one of those things that you push a little harder so you can make a really good first impression, because you only have one time for that.
Yes, first impressions are huge. And I'm trying to remember specifically what book it was that I was reading, but they were talking about marketing and products and how people ranked and rated different products. Mm-hmm. And the packaging has such a huge impact on, say it was like food or like a beverage. The taste that people would perceive would swing wildly depending on the package that it was within. So when you read stuff like that, and people don't realize this, they're like, oh no, I wouldn't be swayed by that. Like, I'm smart enough to, that wouldn't happen to me.
Right.
But it's the whole experience that you're buying.
That's right. I mean,
it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, but people do.
No,
people do it all the time.
Like, the senses are not completely all disconnected. What you see goes in relationship to what you smell, and that creates something in your brain that associates with good or bad.
Yeah.
So everything,
all the senses kind of mix.
That's right. And that's probably one of the reasons why I couldn't do publishing anymore. I mean, when you're reading online and off of your computer, I don't know, there's nothing more boring than that in my book.
Wait, what were you doing on your computer?
Yeah, if you're not reading a book, but you're reading the same material on your computer, like I couldn't get behind that. So that's why I couldn't do publishing anymore if we were just putting content online. I just couldn't do it.
So at this point in your publishing career, you weren't even like publishing actual physical books?
Yeah, we were publishing physical books, but it wasn't the priority. So the priority was to how much content can we put online and how we're going to service the content online. So creating products that way, and there's a great merit to that, and and kudos for the people that are doing that these days, and they get jazzed by it. I wasn't one of them.
Yeah, me personally, I love my computer. I have a background in IT. I have a degree in network engineering, so I've worked with computers for many years. But there's something about an actual physical book that you're holding in your hands. Like if I'm reading, I've considered getting a Kindle and stuff like that, but it's not the same experience. And I've even read some books on my iPhone before. It's not the same.
Oh, I don't know how that was big.
It's not the same. Yeah. So I go to the library and I just stack them up. Free books, free knowledge.
Yeah. No, and you're right. I mean, but there's a lot of the book. It's not just what you read, but you feel the weight, you smell the pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That tangible experience. Right. Yeah, it's huge. I like it. Cool. So, so you had your first weekend. You're like, all right, this is real deal. At what point did you decide to cut ties with your 9-to-5 and just go for full time?
It was. After the first weekend, it was just just living on the high, but not necessarily thinking that this is gonna be my life, and especially because we worked so hard, and I swear I thought we had at least like $1,000 in sales or $2,000 in sales. The line was so large, and then we go home and we count the money and we have like $300. Mm-hmm. How is that possible?
You're thinking that was a lot of work.
That's for only $300. A lot of work for the $300. So, but part of it, and we screw up like half of the drinks, and we were taking too long and talking to people for too long and whatnot. So, so I thought, well, this is fun, but this is not gonna pay the bill. So I worked on Urbana and also in my day job for another year, I want to say. And Urbana money went straight to the bank. The publishing gig was the money I used to pay my mortgage and the car and the dog food and whatnot. And it wasn't into maybe a year and a half into the business that I decided I can't do publishing anymore. And to the point that I thought, if this coffee deal doesn't work out, that's fine. I give it a try. Now the goal is that the coffee business have to do what my corporate job was doing, which was taking care of, mortgages and the cars and the dog food. And it got serious. So now it wasn't a weekend thing, and I have to look for more jobs to do during the week. I only have the Vespa at this point, and I was looking for a place for the shop. So I found Pendleton, and after that it was just build until we got the shop built. And
was that space? Was it a white box? Was it like an empty room, or was there already some
nothing
stuff
in there, man? There's not even flooring.
So you had to do everything.
With no experience, but we.
And that's a big investment as well.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of money. At this point, I'm pretty like limited with cash. So I did a lot of work by myself, and then I have few friends that are, forever be grateful that they put their work into it. And we got it open, and I think I only had at this point $40,000. That was all. That was it. And we got the shop, which is a beautiful looking shop, for $40,000. I don't understand how we did that, but we got it done. But we opened in December. By April, I didn't have money to pay anybody.
What year is this? April of I want to say 2000 and... Is this 13 or 14? Probably 14?
No, yeah, maybe 13. 15? Or maybe 14. 2014. Yeah, I think so.
So it started blowing up.
Well, I was broke. By April, I was broke.
Okay.
I had no money. It was the last day of March. And I had to do payroll in 7 days. And I didn't have money to do payroll or to pay rent for the space or to pay for milk, coffee, whatever. There was no money. Wow. And so I thought, okay, well, if we don't do well in April, we're done. There's no more money. We're done. And luckily enough, the Vespa comes back to the market. The Vespa kills it in April, kills it. It generates enough money to get, it's a supply of blood to the shop. So the shop, they live another month. And then the Vespa kills it the next month. And it keeps doing it over and over again through the year. And it saves the day. So the Vespa forever be the one thing that kept us alive. And we survived year 1, and then year 2 becomes a little easier. And then year 3 becomes a lot easier. And as little by little, you make this progress because you start gaining, you're gaining new customers and they keep coming. And so your base is a little larger. But there has been so many times that the shop was not going to survive.
What an experience.
Yeah,
I know I've personally been there as well. So like I can relate to that feeling of like, are we going to make it even another month? Do we have the money? Do we have the resources to make this happen? And especially when you have people who are working for you, the one thing you don't miss is payroll.
That's right.
People get paid on time no matter what.
That's right.
You go rob a bank if you have to.
That's right.
You pay people when they are expecting it.
Yeah, I got to the point that I will sell stuff in my house. I have this bicycle, is nice. Let's sell it. Let's put it back. What I always did, and that is, to me, that is almost like rule number 1 of being in business. Once you're in business, rule number 1, you always pay your people. No matter what, you always pay you can owe to anybody else, but you always pay your people.
Yep.
But rule number 2, you always pay yourself, because you can't fail at home in the business. You if you're failing, you got to choose one.
Yeah.
But if you go all down all at the same time, it's just too difficult to recover.
Your entire life implodes, personal and business.
Yeah, that's no good. So always, people get paid, but I got paid also. And it doesn't mean that you get paid, $1 bazillion, but you get something in return. You got to have something so you can eat the next day.
Just enough to get by.
Just enough to get by. So my salary on year 1 with Urbana was $7,500 a year. That's it.
Wow.
In year 2 was $14,000. And that is very embarrassing to say when you're living through it, because, you don't want people to know that you are struggling so bad.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Those figures you just mentioned, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. The last few years have been lean for me.
It's very super lean. So then,
which on the bright side, because of that,
you learn.
I've learned a lot, but now I live very frugally.
That's right. You learn how to live. You learn that there's a lot of stuff that you don't need anymore.
Which is very liberating in itself. Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah.
That scene where he's like, you are not your job. What makes me think of what you're saying at the beginning of our conversation. Like, you are not your job. You are not, your couch. You are not this. You are not that. It's like, we don't need all this stuff necessarily. Yeah. We don't need to spend money to have like a happy, fulfilling life.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah, I'm on the same boat with that. And in my mind, I'm not downgrading, but I had a much larger house compared to the apartment that I live in, and the condo that I'm about to buy is even smaller than the apartment that I'm living in. So I feel like because of things like this, there's, living in smaller spaces kind of limits the amount of things that you can acquire, but also kind of teaches you, there's a lot of stuff you didn't need, and just being a little more conscious of that.
Yeah. I think for me personally, I want to eventually get to a point where everything I own, except for like, maybe items like my drum set or whatever else, then maybe that goes in storage, but everything I own is in a backpack. And I'm just traveling. I'm like a vagrant wanderer.
Well, you can
at least for a phase of my life. Hey, It's in the plan.
It's in the
In
plan.
the next few years, you're gonna see me living out of a van.
I endorse that. I kind of like. I think I would like to do something like that for a little bit.
Yeah, hit all the national parks, all the major cities. I could even bring this setup and just like have interesting conversations on the road with cool people.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Make a living that way.
Yeah, I like it. So now you have a second location as well.
Yeah. Well, right now we have 3 locations technically. So we have East Walnut Hills, which we opened about a year ago, just a little over a year ago. Findlay Market, it is now the place where we roast coffee, but we have also a permanent espresso bar there.
Oh,
so it's
I was
pretty
not aware
much
of that. When did that happen?
It happened about 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay,
not long ago, and it was one of those moves that Findlay Market decided. Okay, if you're doing this, you gotta commit on a larger scale and be open every single day. So for us, it didn't make any sense to just roast coffee every single day. It doesn't serve the market well. It doesn't serve us well enough, so we decided to put a little more money and resources, and we built this. It's a beautiful espresso bar. So that is open Tuesdays to Sunday, and of course Pendleton, which is the first shop. In about 2 or 3 weeks from now, we're gonna open the 4th location, which is in the Scripps building.
Well.
Yeah.
Making moves.
Yeah, making some move, man. And this is for me. Well, I always say this, but I think I'm not opening more shops right now. I always say this, and then we open another one.
Yeah.
But the Scripps Center is called the Outpost. That's at least the nickname that we're giving it. And it is there to service pretty much, people in the financial district or the business district in Cincinnati, and more importantly, the Scripps employees. So it's about 2,000 employees that come to that building. So I think we should be, busy enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, it's great.
Spot.
And the views, the views to the river is great.
What floor are you going to be on there?
We're going to be on the bottom, the lobby.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Before they go up to their office.
Right by the elevators. So
yes.
we have a way to catch him right before.
Yes, location is everything. It makes a big difference.
That's right. And the last move I think we're making this year will be moving the shop in Pendleton to a much larger location. So Pendleton right now sits about 17 to 20 people, and we're hoping to be able to sit about 40 to 60 people in the new location.
Where are you moving it exactly? It's a little bit like east of where you currently are?
2 doors down to the left. So we're right now to the right of Nation. Now we're going to be to the left of Nation. So it's right there. So we're just waiting for a few things to get clear up and then start building. So hopefully we'll have it open by December.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like kind of sad to be giving up the original shop, or are you just...
Yeah, super nostalgic. So and I go to the shops at night. It became difficult nowadays for me to be at the shops if I'm not behind the bar. If I'm taking a chair and people come in and they need a chair, then I feel so bad that I just give up mine, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I can sit there without feeling guilty that somebody's standing or somebody needs to be seated. So
yeah, it's a tight little space.
It's tight. So I go on nights. Once everything is clean and ready and there's no one there, I turn on a few lights and I come to the shop. I make my own coffee and I sit with my computer and do some work. But most of the time I'm doing work on my home. Is when I do all my computer work.
Yeah.
But with this larger shop, I think it'll be great for the community because we always fighting for a space.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there going to be Wi-Fi?
Yeah, there's going to be Wi-Fi on that. We can't strip it in Pendleton. But we're being very conscious how we do this Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah.
We're being, that's I think as much as I can say. But we are kind of designating spaces throughout the shop. So if you come with a computer, there will be a place for you.
It's like, here's the Wi-Fi zone. It's got like a smoker and non-smoker section. Like
I almost wish that we could do that, but not. I mean, we're just setting places that are comfortable for sitting and talking, and there are places that are comfortable for working.
Smart.
So if we can accommodate the customer that way, then we don't have to say we're not offering Wi-Fi. We're just offering a better sitting arrangement depending on what you're doing.
I like that. Yeah. That's smart. Optimize it for whatever the person is there to do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is exciting, man. I'm excited to check out the new shop. And you said 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
You said December.
2 or 3 weeks for the outpost.
One Scripps Center.
Yeah. And about 2 or 3 months for the Pendleton 2.0.
Gotcha. Yeah. Pendleton 2.0.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. I have another question for you.
Yeah.
What is the latest you will drink coffee?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter? You'll drink a cup of coffee right before going to bed?
I can. Anytime. I have an espresso. So this is the secret to all this, and part of I can't work on the shops. I can't do computer work on the shop. Well, one, Pendleton is always busy. 2, in Walnut Hills, we don't share the internet connection. So I feel like a jerk if I am the one person with a computer working when we're telling people we don't have internet, right? So those options are kind of out the table. So I decided to make an investment for myself, and I bought myself a really nice espresso machine that I keep at home. So if I'm doing work at night or during the day and I want to have an espresso or a cappuccino, I make it, and that the time really doesn't matter. I think 2 days ago I made coffee at midnight because I was doing emails and whatnot, and I went back to sleep.
Wow, that's wild. So you're just doing it more for the flavor, just like, all right,
enjoy right now.
A nice cup, and
it's something to have, and and it feels good. I think I was having some biscotti, and
you're really treating yourself.
Yeah, I crack a bag of biscotti that we baked the day before. It was delicious.
That sounds amazing. Well, damn, I need to come over to your space and hang out.
That's right. Well, my neighbors know the trick, so sometimes somebody will knock at the door and say, "Hey, you're making something?" I say, yeah, sure.
Like, I can smell it over here.
Yeah, and it's funny. It is becoming humorous that some of my neighbors knock at the door.
That's cool. How many cups do you have a day?
No, really, maybe one.
Just one? Okay. So you don't get wild with it. You're not like one of these people. Like, I know some people who are like, oh, you have like 4 or 5 cups a day. I'm like, oh, that's a lot. But
no, in part of it, I think I went through the same place that you were. And it wasn't when I had the business. It was sometime before that I was drinking a little too much coffee, and I can feel it. But I didn't want to be completely off because I didn't kind of program myself to be completely off. I just have it when I crave it. And there are days that I don't have any, and there are days that I have 3 cups. But it's depending on the day. So today I had one this morning that was, and I'm feeling fine. Yesterday I don't think I had any.
Nice.
Yeah.
The coffee man, not drinking coffee every day.
Not drinking coffee every day. I've been getting into a lot of teas, I have to say.
Teas. I started recently drinking tea as well.
Yeah, we have a good 2 partnerships that are impressive. Churchill's, they do such a good job at Findlay Market, and then Wendigo as well. He tries to blend really weird stuff, so some of the teas are like, okay, well, I'm not sure if I can get into that. But some of them are so delicious because they're so different. Churchill's is a little more traditional, but they really have good stuff. So once in a while, I just go to either and see, what do you have new? Let me see what I can try. So I have also a tea maker. It's a small tea maker at the house, so I play with that.
Very cool.
Yeah, we were playing before 2.0. We're playing with few tea blends to make into sodas. And if that works out, it'll be really nice.
Tea blends that you're making into sodas.
Yes, that is a new thing that we're working on. I know. Yeah. And the ones that we have done, they're actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for that. Definitely keep me plugged into when that is happening.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
I want to know about that. Well, let's shift from coffee, and I just want to ask you: do you have any other personal projects that you've been working on or anything like that?
So there's a project that I'm working on with two of my friends that is called Out for Coffee. This is a video series, or it's a video that we want to make into series. And the premise of it is not necessarily getting out of your house and getting a cup of coffee. It's more about that interaction that you have and the story behind it. So the first episode that we're going to launch, and we're probably like a month or two away, it is a little more of that story of what do you do, what do you sacrifice when you decide to put a business together, and what are the highs and lows that comes with it, and the personality traits of these people that are doing this. So it's a little bit about my story, but also how my story is not that unique. And there are some people that have done things that are very similar to what I have done, and what stage in their career they're in, and how do we see their future, our futures, and how do we work together to get to the place where we wanted to get when we envisioned these plans. Yeah. So in the mix of that, because these people are in different regions of the States, so in the mix of that, there's a lot of traveling to get there. So we want to make it a little more interesting. So instead of just taking a plane and going to somebody's and having an interview, we decided to use a motorcycle. So we're using a Moto Guzzi V7, and we went through Arizona and California to find these characters and have these interviews. So I think it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Wow, and because I know we were talking about it somewhat recently. You said you were getting drone footage as well, like you driving through like these mountainous areas.
Yeah, we did. It was very interesting. I mean, riding, which I had done a lot with friends or by myself, and riding with a camera crew, it is not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same at all.
It's not as like that, that same sense of freedom, and
Well, you do have it on the first take, and then it becomes then you're thinking about a lot of things, because when you're writing, you can your brain is plugged into your own things.
Yeah,
and then if you're in really great places, you're just
lost in the moment.
You're just swallowing all this, like, oh my God, this is amazing. What a great writer, right? And the thing that comes into my head all the time is like, I'm extremely lucky that I get to do this. I'm extremely lucky that I own a motorcycle. I'm extremely lucky that I'm here.
Yeah.
That I'm not thinking about, world hunger, wars. I'm not thinking about that. And so I always kind of put myself in that perspective. When you're doing this with a camera crew, the first time that you go around, this is great and whatever, and then they tell you, let's do it again, but then this time, like, sit up straight, don't do this, and then you're thinking about a lot of things that you're doing wrong.
My posture.
How do you write this thing and still look? No, don't go too fast, go slower. So it's funny to do it. Because once you put it into video, it'll look way more natural. It will look like that just happened, right? That you just put two guys and a camera, and it's so easy to do. There's a lot of work behind it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see like getting the drone shot. You're driving through this thing, like, all right, now you got to turn around and then do it all over again.
Oh, and sometimes the drone doesn't find you, or they can. I mean, there's too much shades, and they're flying these drones with with an iPhone. So they're not only trying to control this thing, but they're trying to work the camera with an iPhone. So
is it one person flying it and controlling the camera?
Yeah, one person flies it and controls it.
I wonder if it'd almost be easier if you had like that separated, like one person just flying it and then the other person's like just handling smooth camera shots.
The budget will be a little larger, but it can be done.
Yeah, you gotta like double your number of workers.
Yeah, you have one more guy that you have to feed.
Yeah, how many people do you do that with? Is it just like two or three?
I took two. Yeah.
Okay.
So two, I don't do any of. My job stopped after I wrote the script, and now that I have to have to do the voiceover. but that's kind of where my job stops. And these guys, Brian and Matt, both of them they did all the photography, all the video shooting. They're doing the editing and the mixing. So they take a heavy load.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Is there any like projected time for this? I know it's like these projects take a long time to work on. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Do you have any tentative idea?
We wanna have it ready before the writing season is over. So luckily it is still hot. So the writing season will be completely over by November. By Thanksgiving, we'll be all completely gone. Yeah. So we're trying to get it done before November. We still need to hit, a lot of milestones before we get there.
Yeah. Very cool, man. I dig it. I would, this is something I think I could see myself even getting into. Like, all right, I'm going to travel around, talk to people about something, a common bond that we have, starting coffee shops or whatever. Not that I do that. And then, just like creating a story and, a documentary or a video series. That's really cool, dude. I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I tell you what, Daniel. So the way I like to close these out, or what I've been doing so far, is I will ask people. I have a list of a few questions.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go down this list and see what you have to say.
All
right. What does an ideal conversation look like to you?
Ideal conversation. Some laughter. No politics. No religion. Good cup of coffee.
Hey, short and sweet, simple. Right. I like it. What does an ideal date look like? Damn. Probably one where you don't have to bike too far to go to the date. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Ideal date. I think I will go to a very similar space, but ideal date, there's got to be chemistry. There's got to be good laughs. Good meals. Yeah. Wine. Let's
little red wine
into
it. Oh yeah,
right.
That's a good equation you just laid out for me there. I'd like it. Right now, what does your current day look like? It's like a day in the life.
It varies a little bit, but usually 6 o'clock I'm up.
Wow, I want to get on that level.
Yeah,
I'm waking up around like 7.
It's usually 5:30, but I've been slacking off lately, so it's been a 6 o'clock getting up. I shower immediately, let the dogs out. We usually go for like a 30-minute walk and then come back. Have breakfast if I have some time, and head Findlay Market, Pendleton, and then Walnut Hills to do some supervising, and then just troubleshooting, emailing in the afternoons, and by 4 I'm done. I try to be done.
Nice. So you hit up all of your different locations.
All of the different locations, yeah. So I usually try to make myself available to all of them. So at least, even if it's just to say hello, how's everything? Do you guys need anything, kind of deal. And if they are swamped, then I go behind the bar and help. But I try to hit the locations early, so by noon I'm done. And then I can use maybe 1 to 3:30 to do emailings. And I never catch up. I mean, that's the truth to that.
Yo, email.
This is
I am against email.
Yeah, I have 1,500 emails that I cannot get out of my folder. And every month I have 100 more. It's in the beginning of the year there were only 700. Now I'm 1,500. I can't keep up. So as much as I put time together, I can't keep up with it. But
yeah, I can definitely relate. And it's like the emails, the number of unread emails keep piling up because I leave them unread if it's still something I need to address. Right. So it's like, okay, leaving like breadcrumbs for myself.
Right.
For future Ben to look at and like, all right, let's address this. But man, it just keeps piling up.
They keep on piling up. Yeah, they do. So that is that's kind of my typical day. And then of course there's the days that things break, or or the days that there's nothing that I really need to do, and then I just go and have fun. And there are the days that somebody calls sick in the middle of the night, and trying to troubleshoot that. So changes a little bit.
Very cool. Well, I think for me personally, I really enjoy having my days broken up a little bit, and then also when you're not doing the same exact thing every day. Just like a little variety is nice,
Yeah,
it's the spice
absolutely.
of life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you, 100%.
Very cool. All right, what does your ideal day look like? Maybe you've already achieved it. I don't know.
Man, my ideal, I tell you, I can't stop. Like and maybe it's because of the pace that I've been going in the last few years, but I don't sit still. So as much as I sometimes complain that I do too much, I don't know how to do it any other way. So if I come home, even if I get to the house at 3 or 4, I'll let the dogs out. I'll go for a long walk, and then I immediately need to go to a run. I mean, I can't stay still. So, I think I need to have. My ideal day has some purpose. In my ideal day, I get everything that I need to be done. And then I have some time to, working out and having some ice cream.
Ooh. Ice cream, yes.
And not gaining weight. That's the ideal day.
Tell me where I can buy that kind of ice cream.
Yeah, right. That's my ideal weight.
I like it. Day. All right. Here's another one. What does your ideal life look like? So now we're thinking like not just a day, but just a life in general for you.
Yeah. I think I'm there.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. I feel really good. I mean, I feel like pretty lucky that I have found something that I feel passionate about, and I can work in it and live off of it.
Yeah.
So,
what is that? Are you familiar with the term ikigai?
No, I don't think so.
So it's a Japanese. So I'll tell you, ikigai is a Japanese concept that means a reason for being. It usually is used to indicate the source of value in one's life or the things that make one's life worthwhile. So basically what it is when you get the intersection of what you love with what you're good at, with what you can be paid for, with what the world needs. And when you get all four of those like in unison, there's an overlap, that's your ikigai.
That's good.
And it seems like maybe you have found your ikigai.
Yeah, I think so. I think if there's a prize, I want to collect it.
Yeah.
If this was a game show, I want to collect my prize. Yeah. No, I think so. I feel that I know that I'm very lucky that I found something that I said that this is it. Mm-hmm. And I felt that it was it, and I still do, right? I'm lucky enough that the business did well enough that was able to, provide me with a quality of life that is, that I feel proud about, proud to have. I don't feel that I live above my means, but I have enough to cover my means.
Yeah.
So no, I'm there.
You're content.
Yeah, I'm very content.
And it's cool to hear you say how thankful for you are to have all these things, because gratitude is just like one of the most important things in life. Recognizing what you have, appreciating what you have. Like even me, I understand that I'm living in a first world nation in the 21st century.
Yeah.
I have the internet at my fingertips. I have access to all the information in the world. All of my needs are provided for. I'm not stressed. I get to have great conversations with people, good people in my life. It's like there are so many things to be grateful for. Yeah. It's like focus on what you have and like the positive aspects of your life.
And it's a lot, and it's great that you can see that, because if any of us, anyone who was born in this country is already luckier than 70% of the people that have born in different countries. Just by that.
Yeah. I won the lottery. Being born into this body in this place and time.
That's right. They already won a lottery. So that's the first stage of that. And it's very easy if you were born into it, and if you have means growing up, it's very easy to think that's normal.
Take it for granted.
And it's not. It's not normal. That's not the norm. And I grew up in a humble family, but we had food, and we have we have a roof over our heads, and we were better off than the previous generation in my family. And so I can say that I really struggled, but I was in a country that had a lot of problems, and that this still does. So being in a place where it's less problems, where there's more social security, where there's more opportunities, well, I have to have to feel grateful for that. But in my case, I can see a little more of what the other side looks like. But people like you that recognize that is always a great indication.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, what has been the happiest or most carefree phase of your life?
Oh yeah. So I used to work. I used to work on this sailboat in Venezuela a long time ago.
You worked on a sailboat?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, talk about carefree, right?
Yeah.
So right out of college, I got a job on this national park, which is just a number of keys together. It's about 300 keys. It's called Los Roques. There's electricity, there's running water, no internet, no phone service.
Wow.
And
sounds kind of nice, actually.
It was
in certain
awesome.
ways.
It was awesome. So I got hired with this company. So they provided me with unlimited flight of tickets to fly in and out of the island. They provided me with a house to live in and food. The pay was awful, but who cares? I had all my means provided.
Yeah.
And so my job was to take people on this sailboat to do snorkeling or scuba diving.
How old were you when you were doing this?
I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
I want to say 23, maybe 23, 24. It was magical. It's a national park, pristine place, crystal clear waters. I mean, all these fish, turtles. I mean, you see all this fauna, and I had people coming from the States or Germany or Italy or even people in Venezuela traveling and seeing this. So you always have this experience with a new set of people.
Yes.
And they seen this for the first time and they're just blown away. So that was great. So it was not that it was such an easy job, but it's nothing that you're thinking too much about it. So I will be asleep until I heard the plane flying over my house. That is the moment when I got up, and I will put just some shorts on and take off to the airport, which was just walking distance. I will get there, get my tourist ticket so they can have some breakfast, and I can properly shower and get ready so I can, we can hop in the boat. But that was a good time, man.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that was 2 years of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's like some goals for me right there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need to go back to that.
Very cool. All right. What are some of your biggest struggles in life?
Definitely. Well, I got married and divorced. That was probably the biggest one ever.
Yeah.
It was rough to go to school and have a professional life as well. But definitely, I mean, getting married and getting divorced was the biggest for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure we don't have to go too deep into this, but the marriage itself is was it good for a while and then it just slowly started to fade?
No, it was bad. It was just bad from the beginning.
Oh.
So we dated for many years. We never lived together, and not a cautionary tale to anybody. Everybody got to do it the way that they think is best. But no, living together was it was not good.
Yeah.
So we divorced. We only lasted for 2 years or maybe a year and a half, something like that. But it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough after having a functioning relationship and then not a functioning anymore.
Yeah. Sounds hard. I know for me personally, I don't think I'm ever going to get married. And I don't know if I ever want to live with anyone else ever again. Once I got a taste of living by myself, and I am in full control of my environment and like when I want to interact with people and like how I'm spending my time. And so if I, I'm sure I'll have like long-term relationships or one long-term relationship for the rest of my life, maybe. It's like, okay, we don't need to get married, but like, I'll be your dude, you'll be my girl. Let's live 5 minutes away from each other. We'll have date night 2 or 3 times a week. Let's not text or call each other in between too much. Like because I think the time away from somebody, it gives you an opportunity to miss them.
Listen,
and when you're always with somebody, it's like, okay, I could just like, I love you so much, but man, I just need I need some space.
Well, I tell you, I mean, selling me on the idea, I'm sold on it. But you're going to have some challenges finding that person.
Convincing a girl to do that. Right. Like, hey, are you cool with this?
Yeah, I've been trying to sell that idea. It doesn't work out.
You don't want to live with me? What?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't want to get married? What?
Yeah, that's right. So, good luck, man.
Yeah, thank you. And if I don't find it, you know what? Honest to God, hand over my heart, I feel so good just being single right now. And just like working on myself, and I like truly I am my own best friend.
Yeah,
and I used to not always feel this way. I don't know. I'm in a really good place right now as well.
That's good.
So yeah, life is good, man.
That's good.
Why ruin a good thing? All right. What is one experience that had a profound impact on you and shaped you into the person you are today?
When I was 15 years old, I think, my mom, she's such a great person, but she's one of those people that doesn't like to take a lot of risks. So she will not buy a new car if she doesn't have the full amount to go to a dealership and say, here's the car.
Well, that's pretty responsible.
That's very responsible, right? And
not many people in the States do that.
No, not a lot of people ever do that. And she decided that it was finally her time to get a brand new car. So she's been driving a 1970 something Dodge Aspen, which was awful. Which was my first car, anyways. But she's driving this thing, and she goes to the dealership, and she's been saving for years. And she goes to the dealership and she buys a brand new Toyota Corolla, which was the car to have back in, I don't know, 19 something. She buys this thing, and I decided to take it for a ride at night with friends. Super irresponsible, without a driver's license, without insurance. We go out drinking too. So of course we get into an accident. Nobody's really hurt, but the car is completely totaled.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. That was the worst experience. The worst thing that I ever did. And so, a few people have some cuts and bruises. We're at the hospital. So this person had like 2 or 3 stitches taken and whatnot. So we're there. So my family comes to the hospital. I don't know how to even see these people in their faces. And of course, they told me what they needed to tell me. And that was it. They didn't say, you're grounded for life. They didn't say any of that. But I grounded myself for life. I thought, I could have done something much worse. I took away the savings of an individual that was looking forward to that. I took all that away just because being selfish. So at that point, that was it. That was the time that I stopped doing any shenanigans that was going to hurt anybody else. I became responsible that day. I became a better person for my family that day. And I was bad in school. I became a good student. I was good in college. I was not the kid that was going out and drinking and being irresponsible. I had a job. So I think that kind of defined my path. And have I not had this incident, I don't think I would have been in the position that I am today. I think I would have been navigating a little more through life, being a little more careless.
Yeah. That's a powerful story. I think that the most negative things that happen to us in our lives tend to be the best things that ever happened to us in a lot of ways, because they force us to either wallow in your sadness or whatever, or decide to go the other way and become like the best version of yourself and become a better person and learn from it and grow and have more empathy towards others and all of that.
Yeah. And being young, right? Being young helps you to correct that course.
Yes.
You're less reluctant to just make big changes in life.
Wow. I could not imagine being in that position.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. Who inspires you? And maybe even someone who's not very well known, even if you have someone like that. But it can be anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure I have an answer for that. I can't think of like one person that have been like the complete inspiration for me, but it's always kind of been a set amount of people in different settings. And sometimes it's a good advice, sometimes it's a bad advice. But before I opened Urbana, I had a good friend who was an accountant, and she was doing so well. She was making a fair amount of money and successful at her company. And she decided to stop doing that to open her own company. That, to me, in that moment, that was enough inspiration to say, if she's willing to do this, man, I need to be thinking about it too.
Yeah.
Later on in life, another good friend who was an author in the place that I used to work told me, if you're so dissatisfied, you got to stop doing what you're doing. And I got so mad that he said that. And it turned out to be such a great advice. So it's always been like, little nudges in there that and things that you see. And yeah, I think I can do it because it's been done and because this person has done it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I can say one person. Really.
Well, you don't necessarily have to. Well, let me say this. I think I'm sure you already do. You already inspire people. But hopefully some people who don't even know you are going to see this video and be inspired to take
awesome,
risks.
Man. I mean,
I honestly believe that.
Yeah, I don't know if how much credit you take, but it is great if you have a story that you can share with somebody and somebody can go on a path. I hope, hopefully if anybody gets inspired by this, they actually do well.
Agreed.
Right.
Awesome. All right. What topic or new understanding was crucial in your development as a person?
What topic or new understanding? Let's see. So, a couple of things in the business side, which is closer to me right now. There's a book that I read not long ago that is called Profit First. That changed the way I was running the business by 1,000%.
I'm gonna have to read this book.
It's unbelievably good. That changed everything for me. In the personal way, long time ago, when I moved from Venezuela to the States, it was the understanding of differences between people that was pretty big for me, because
culture specifically, or people within the United States being
people
so different?
within culturally, sexual orientation, races, because in Venezuela, we are very traditionalist in how we run our country or how people interact, but we don't have any racial tension in there. We have a little more social tension in there. So, the rich and the poor kind of deal. But there is the sexual preferences. It is a sin. There's these people, they're 80% Catholics and they're very traditional. So then coming to a country that is way more advanced on those topics, but then with a racial tension that I never lived in, it took me a while to understand, to see an African-American individual talking about racial profiling, and in my head saying, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. That doesn't exist.
This is a foreign concept. Yeah, you're making this up.
You're making this up. Not understanding or not sympathizing with that idea, or accepting sexual preferences even when I saw it right on the street, because was so foreign for me in the beginning. So those things, like accommodating to that, what it gives you is a better perspective of as a human to, we all have rights. We all should be happy. We're all looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
So stop judging, start understanding, make friends in every single way, and just hear the stories. And then you start finding that, we're pretty similar. Mm-hmm. We just have a few different interests, but we're pretty similar.
Exactly. And I think that's part of the reason why traveling is so awesome.
I think so too.
Because you're interacting with all these people that you never would have had access to. You're learning about their stories and their histories and their culture, and just their perception is so different. Their perspective on things compared to my own.
Yeah. And I don't think it's so much of the comparison when you come back. It is more of what you learn when you were somewhere else. And sometimes it's just the smallest things, like not eating so much sugar during the day.
Yeah.
Like you go to Italy and then you see the candies, the wrap candies are much smaller than our size, and then I get it. The consumption that we're doing is not ideal.
Our portion sizes are out of control.
Out of control.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome, man. Yeah, being exposed to new cultures. I love it. Okay, I got a couple more here.
All right.
You already might have answered this, but let's see if you got anything else. What book, podcast, show, or other form of media have you recently consumed that you would recommend?
I go to one, I'm super busy, so I don't have a lot of time to sit and read or listen. And mainly also because I try to, it's difficult for me to relax a lot, to just stay in one place. But my usual suspect in the one show that I always, every week will hear, there's two of them. It is Car Talk by NPR and Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Yeah.
Those are my absolute favorite shows.
Those are both awesome.
They're both amazing.
Yo, did you see my cup here?
Oh, nice, man.
Public radio nerd, NPR.
That's good.
Yeah, those are both awesome.
Yeah, they're good for running. Yeah. I mean, they make my run a lot shorter, or they're great for traveling.
Yeah.
Especially Car Talk. If you're sitting in the truck or the car and driving around, that show is just phenomenal.
You don't even need to know anything about cars. You just enjoy it. The energy of those two brothers.
Yeah.
Something else.
That's all you need. Yeah. It's just that laughter. Even if you're losing contact of what they're talking, I mean, they're talking about the transmission and you do this and do that. I mean, if you think about the premise of that show, like, who in their right mind want to be listening to other people problems in car, but this individual's made it so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's cool. Both of those shows are very they promote laughter.
Yeah,
there's a lot of laughing going on.
Yeah, both of them.
It's what you said in the ideal conversation. There's some laughter. Maybe I don't think we've laughed enough here.
No, we need.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, I need to up my game for next time.
We need to have some jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I got a few. But.
That's good.
Okay, last question. If there is one piece of wisdom or advice you would share with your younger self, what would it be?
That's good. I don't know. I think
I'm getting deep here. I'm diving deep.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good question. Well, there's a couple of traits that I work on, that I try to work on through years, and I think I have gotten so much better. But then I hear that I'm not. Being stubborn. That is, so there's a fine line of being stubborn and being tenacious.
Yeah.
So the tenacity sometimes is confused for being stubborn, and sometimes I confuse my tenacity of being, I confuse being that tenacity into stubbornness. And especially in my personal life, not so much in the professional life, because I try until I try, and if it doesn't make sense, and I'm making a mistake. But in the professional life, in the personal life, is when I have to see it a little closer. So that tenacity and being stubborn, both of those, a good balance between, but I guess that will be my advice. Just keep on looking on those, or at least work on them.
Yeah.
Because I think I made a lot of mistakes earlier on in my personal life just because of that.
So be a little more flexible.
Yeah, being
more
hard-headed. Flexible. Yeah, absolutely. Being more flexible. I work on a lot of issues in the past. Like, I don't react to things the same way that I did, 10 years ago. But I think that comes with aging and, acquiring some wisdom, or, along those years. And, if you're reacting to every situation like a teenager, like nothing good comes to that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think for me, so I'm 28 and a half. Just had my half birthday a couple days back.
All right.
I didn't celebrate or anything, but I made note, like, okay. But for me getting older, the wisdom that comes with it, I love it. I feel like I am infinitely wiser than when I was, even 10 years ago when I was 18. I know so much more about myself, about the world, and just like developing yourself, and like you said, learning which traits you need to modify and change, and like how can I become a better person?
And I think a part of that, it is making some choices that are gonna get you there. So, an example is like if you're in a relationship that makes the worst out of you comes to light too many times, maybe that relationship is not the right relationship to be in. And the same thing goes with the job. If you're working on this most days and doesn't make you be the better person, maybe that's not the right place to be. The hard decisions is to quit the job, quit the relationship, move to a different place, have better friends. Those are the things that are very hard move to make. But they're very crucial. Like if you make moves that are intentional, they're very crucial to find the better version of yourself. And then the other part of that is, of course, you have to do the work internally, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The internal work is the biggest thing.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people today, it's almost like they've resigned themselves to the life they have, and they're not, maybe I'm just like projecting or judging unnecessarily, but I feel like a lot of people aren't fighting for what they really want out of life, and they're not striving to be the best version of themselves. I heard a statistic that 85% of people, I don't know if it's just within the United States, I think, they don't enjoy their job.
That doesn't surprise me.
85%. So you're spending almost half of your waking life doing something you don't want to be doing.
Yeah.
It's like, time to make a change, man.
Yeah.
Time to do something different.
That's right.
So yeah, everybody out there, Daniel went through it. He had the lean years, he had the struggles, and here you are, dude. And you said, you're in your groove, dude. You found your ikigai.
That's right, man.
You're there.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take that.
I love it.
And my price.
Exactly. Well, Daniel, thanks so much for coming, man. I know you're a busy guy, but this has been a great conversation.
Yeah, I think so. This is great. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Well, until next time.